My name is Jake, and this happened when I was 10. My dad was a long-haul trucker, and sometimes during summer, he'd take me on short overnight trips. I loved it. I'd sit in the passenger seat, eating gas station candy, watching the world blur by. One night, around 2 a.m., we were on a lonely stretch of highway in West Virginia. The woods pressed in on both sides. I was half asleep when Dad suddenly slammed the brakes. I jolted awake. In the high beams was a man, just standing in the middle of the road. He wasn't waving for help. He was perfectly still, wearing a dark, old-fashioned suit, his face pale and blank. "Don't look at him, Jake," Dad muttered, his knuckles white on the wheel. He carefully swerved around the man and sped up. In the side mirror, I saw the man turn his head, following our truck with his eyes until we disappeared around a bend. We drove in silence for 10 minutes. Then we heard it, a slow, rhythmic tap, tap, tap coming from the back of the truck's cabin. Our sleeper berth had a curtain. It was closed. Dad's eyes darted to the rearview mirror fixed on the cabin's back. His face went gray. He didn't tell me to look. Instead, he whispered, "Jake, listen to me. When I count to 3, I'm going to brake hard. You brace yourself and don't turn around. No matter what you hear." My heart hammered. 1, 2. He never said 3. Instead, he slammed his hand on the air horn, holding it down in one long, deafening blast. The tapping stopped instantly. We drove the next 50 miles to a brightly lit truck stop without a single sound from the back. Dad parked right under a floodlight, next to other trucks. He grabbed his tire iron, threw open his door, and yanked open the back cabin door. It was empty. Just my Rumpo sleeping bag. We sat in the diner, shaking, drinking hot chocolate. An old trucker at the next booth overheard us talking quietly. He put down his coffee and said, "You boys seen the road walker? Suit and all." We nodded, stunned. "He doesn't want your help," the old man said. "He just wants a ride. And he always gets in." I never went on another overnight trip. Years later, cleaning out Dad's old truck after he retired, I found something under the sleeper bunk. It was a single, dusty cufflink, made of tarnished silver, and it wasn't my dad's. My sister Lily and I shared a bedroom when we were little. Our beds were against opposite walls, and between us was a big old window that looked out into our backyard and the thick woods beyond. Lily had this rule. After dark, we were not to look directly out the window. "The boy doesn't like to be stared at," she'd say. I thought it was just her being weird. She was 7, I was 9. I knew better. One autumn night, our parents were out late. The babysitter was asleep on the couch downstairs. A storm was brewing, and wind made the tree branches scrape against the glass. Lily was fast asleep. Out of sheer boredom and a bit of bravery, I decided to break the rule. I sat up in bed and looked out the window. At first, I just saw my own faint reflection and the dark, swaying trees. Then I noticed another reflection. Right beside mine in the glass was the pale face of a boy about my age, but with dark, hollow eyes. He was inside our room, standing right beside my bed. I froze. I couldn't breathe. Slowly, very slowly, I turned my head to look beside me. There was nothing there. I let out a shaky breath. It was just a trick of the light, my imagination. I looked back at the window. He was still there in the reflection. But now, he was smiling. And this time, he wasn't beside me. In the reflection, he was standing behind me, looking over my shoulder. I screamed. I tore my eyes from the window, scrambled out of bed, and shook Lily awake. The boy in the window. I sobbed out. Lily sat up, rubbed her eyes, and looked past me, not at the window, but at the empty space beside my bed. She sighed, annoyed. "I told you not to look. Now he's made a new friend." And she rolled over and went back to sleep. I spent the rest of the night with every light on, facing the wall. To this day, I never sleep with a mirror or a dark window facing my bed, because sometimes what's in the reflection isn't just showing you what's in the room. It's showing you what else is there watching. In our neighborhood, there was a game we called sewer tag. You'd run, and the base was a specific manhole cover on our street. It was old and heavy, with 1887 stamped on it. The rule was, you had to touch it with your foot to be safe. One afternoon, I was it. My friends, Mikey and Sam, were sprinting toward the manhole. I was close behind Sam when we both heard it, a clear, wet, gurgling voice coming straight up through the iron grate of the manhole. He yooked me. Sam skidded to a stop, his eyes wide. I froze beside him. We looked at each other. It had to be a trick. Mikey was hiding nearby with a walkie-talkie or something. "Mikey, not funny," Sam yelled, but his voice trembled. The voice came again, slower, more desperate. "I'm stuck down here." It sounded like someone talking with a mouthful of water. Mikey came jogging around the corner from a totally different direction, confused. "Why'd you stop? I was gonna win." He hadn't made the voice. The three of us slowly approached the manhole cover. We knelt down. The smell was awful, damp, rotten. I peered through one of the small holes. It was pitch black. And then, from that absolute darkness, a single bloodshot eye pressed right up against the hole from underneath, looking back at me. We screamed and ran all the way home. We told our parents, who called the police. The police came, pried the ancient manhole cover open, and shined their lights down. They found no one, just stagnant water and old pipes. They said it was probably an animal, or our imagination. We never played sewer tag again. But a week later, during a heavy rain, that manhole cover burst open from the pressure. The floodwaters washed out all sorts of debris. Along with the mud and trash, something else came out. A small, waterlogged leather shoe. And inside it was a child's foot, bones gray and ancient, like it had been down there for a very, very long time.